Happy Thursday. Only it's not Thursday, it is Sunday. I am recording this Facebook Live so that you will have it on Thursday, February 29th. Don't forget, February 29th is a leap year, so 4 more years till we see it again. But there's a lot going on February 29th. First, it's my Facebook Live, so I will be posting this recorded version to the Facebook Live. Secondly, it's the last day that our celebration flyer is effective. Let me bring this up and share with you. There we go. It expires on February 29th. So you'll have until, I believe, maybe 11 or 12 Mountain Time to place your order so that you can get some of the free products out of Celebration. And I'll talk about that in just a second. But let me introduce myself to you. I'm April Davis. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, and I'm really excited that you're all with me tonight, even if it is just in spirit. I do record live every Thursday. It's a to-go class, and you have the opportunity then, if you enjoy the kit, an order or place an order in my online store, and then I will send you the to-go kit for free. So I'm going to share with you what we're making tonight. It's in the mini catalog. It's Everyday Details. This is the stamp set that you'll have with the Everyday Details, and it's a bundle. So you also get the dies if you choose to go with the bundle. And these dies are incredible. I mean, it doesn't necessarily go with the stamp set, but there's so much you can do with these dies, and we're going to be utilizing a number of these tonight. But the other thing that we're utilizing tonight is in our celebration flyer. And again, you only have till the 29th to place your order, but I'm going to be utilizing Flight and Airy Designer Series paper. This paper is so fun. If you like birds, you will love this paper. I wanted to bring it in just to show you. You've got the birds on the front, pretty flowers on the back side, more birds, a water wash, I guess, a watercolor wash on the back, more birds, a pattern in brown, more birds. It makes spring is just around the corner, I hope. Here's some more flowers, only in the blue hue instead of the pink hue. More birds. Now we've got green and more birds. And now we've got pink, a pink wash. So this paper has been so fun. I can't wait to share it with you in these cards. But I wanted to remind you that it is only free through the 29th of February with a $50 order. So if we go back to my to-go classes, you get the kit for free when you place a $40 order or more in my online store. If you place a $50 order in my online store, you're going to get the kit, plus you're going to get a free set of embellishments, brand new embellishments. I would have you utilize the host code, which is right here, but you'll also be able to go to my website, which is at aprildaviscreations.com. If you go to my classes and go to the to-go section of the class, it will explain everything to you. The fact that I don't do any stamping for you, but anything that is die cut, that's not part of the bundle, or cardstock, all of that I provide for you in the kit. So the only thing that you really need is the bundle. That being said, if you have a bundle that is similar to this Everyday Details and what we're going to be utilizing, I'm going to take the host code down for just a second. If you have a set that's similar to this, we're going to be utilizing the teacup. We're going to be utilizing the pot with the flowers. I'm just taking a look. Oh, we're going to be die cutting some birds out of, or not die cutting, but fussy cutting some birds out of the paper. My point is that the kit can be utilized for something other than this particular bundle. So if this bundle isn't, what you're looking for, but you like what I've done in the kit, you might consider just, placing your order and getting the kit so that you can be more creative with it. So let's go ahead and let me show you what it is that we're making tonight. I think you're going to love these cards. So these are the cards that we're going to be making. We've got the little birds that I told you that are going to be die cut. We've got a little teacup, and then we've got our potted plants, if you will, our flowers. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to get started with this one. I'm going to bring it out, the kit, and we're utilizing the crumb cake cardstock. So our base is going to be crumb cake. Then we've got a crumb cake layer that we're going to be working with. I've got a piece of the designer series paper already cut. And then I've also die cut, just to save us some time, a couple of little birds. So let me remove myself from this picture and we'll get started. All right, so the first thing that we need to do is we need to focus on our stamping. So I'm going to move this stuff off to the side for just a second. And we're going to stamp with this stamp that says, you make every day a little brighter. Now, please note how long this stamp is. And I need this stamp to fit into this circle. So what I've done is I've stamped part of it and then I've stamped the rest of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our tape. I'm going to bring out my Misty Moonlight ink. And we're going to take our tape and we are going to tape off a little brighter. And I'm just going to place it on top of my stamp. We're going to do like that. So when I ink this up and I'm looking at it to make sure that I've got everything covered, I'm going to stamp "You Make Every Day." So let me open this up. And I'm going to do a tap, 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 tap. I'm going to double check to make sure I've got it coated well. And I'm going to pull this tape off. That's the first thing you do, is you pull the tape off, because you don't want to stamp with that. So now I'm going to center this in the center of my paper. I'm going to kind of line that up. I'm going to try to do this as straight as I possibly can. And I'm going to center in "You Make Every Day." There we go. And now I'm going to do the exact same thing. I have to clean the stamp off. And I'm going to take the tape, another piece of tape, and this time I'm going to cover up "You Make Every Day." So let me see, "You Make Every Day." I'm going to cover that up with my tape. I kind of push the tape down so it doesn't get in the way. And then I'm going to do a little brighter. And I'm going to take the tape off again, off to the side, get it out of my way. And I'm going to stamp a little brighter. Let me line this back up again so I can be fairly straight. But I'll do a little brighter just underneath it. There we go. "You Make Every Day a little brighter." All right, we're not done with this. What we want to do now is we want to take the little splotches that come in the stamp set as well. And we're just going to do some splotching around this. So I'm going to do it here, and then I'm going to twist it and maybe do it like this. And then I'm going to twist it again, and I'm going to do it like this. And we're just going to splotch all the way around it. So I'm going to continue to stamp. I'm going to turn this upside down because I'm going to splotch it over here. And I'm going to go all the way around my sentiment. So we'll get this part of it done. And I think that's probably good. I'm going to stop there. Okay, let me clean this off. I was thinking maybe I want to do it one more time, but no, I'm going to stop. All right, so I'm going to set this off to the side. Now we've got our stamping done. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to bring out the dies that come with a set, and we are going to cut a circle into the front of this cardstock. So this circle is too big. I'm going to go to the next size circle. And what's going to be nice about this, if you notice, this circle's got two areas that are going to, you'll see it when we die cut it out, but here's the cut line. So the outside of the cut line is going to put little circles around as a decorative, and then the circle that we cut out is going to have a decorative. So if I take this and line this up, I want to, let's see, I might have spaced that out just a little bit too much, but that's okay, we're gonna make it work. Probably what I should have done is I should have brought my little brighter in just a tad bit more, because I can tell you that this circle is gonna be too big. It's not gonna work for me. I mean, it will cut a bigger hole. I suppose I could use it. Let me think about this for just a second. Maybe I will use this. It's a little bit bigger than what I wanted, because when it goes on this piece of cardstock, I'm gonna have less area around. But you know, not every card looks the same. So I'm trying to figure out if there's enough of this that I can cut this circle and make it work. And it's gonna be tight. It's gonna be tight. Or I could take this one and, whoops, and I can cut this and it will also be tight, but I think I can make this work. So we're gonna go with the smaller one. It's gonna be tight, but you know, when you're stamping and you're creating, things aren't always gonna be the same way you did them the last time. So you just gotta get creative with it. So I'm gonna pull out my, actually I'm not cutting this. I'm gonna cut the hole that this is gonna go over. All right, let me think about this again. It's fine, because what I'll do after I get this hole cut is I'm going to line this up underneath it. All right, so I'm on the same page with you now. I'm sure you guys were thinking, but April, you don't cut that out. You're right, I don't. So I'm gonna get this so that it's centered. And I'm actually gonna go back and look at this one for just a second. And it looks like I'm just a little bit higher, so I'll go a little bit higher on this. I still wanna center it, but we're gonna go up just a little bit higher. All right, there we go. So now what we'll do is we'll run this through my cut and emboss. Let me see if this is big enough to go through. It is not, so we're gonna have to bring the big one out. So I'll bring the big one out. So I've got my cut and emboss, and I'm gonna bring the plates in to do my cutting right here. And then we'll put this up. And I've got my clear plate to go over the top of it. And we'll just run this through. Alrighty, so let's move this out of the way. We'll bring it back out pretty soon. Unload this. Okay, so here's the fun part. You've got die circles here, and then you've also got a circle that has little dies out of it as well, or little circles out of it as well. We're not going to be utilizing this right now, so I'm going to put it off to the side, and I'm going to save it. And then remember, well, maybe not, last week we utilized my mat with the little brush that screws onto my take your pick. And you can see all of the little pieces that are inside this die. I'll set this up and we'll do a quick clean up here to get all of these dots out of my die. And this is in the main catalog, the annual catalog. It's just a time saver, so I don't have to go around and poke out every single, it's clean. I don't have to go around, and then I can just dump this in the trash bin. So, all right, let's move on, and we're gonna start to assemble this card. The first thing we wanna do is we wanna put this behind it. Oh, this is gonna be perfect. This is, I was worried about nothing. This is gonna be perfect. But what I do wanna do is I wanna put this up on dimensionals. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put dimensionals on the outer side of this, so that when I place this on it, it's going to be popped up. Actually, I am going to do that. And then we'll also put some here so that it'll pop up on my base card. So I'm going to fold the base card here so we can get started with that. But let me pull out the dimensionals and you'll see what I'm talking about. So I'm going to take and I'm going to put dimensionals all around the outside here. So we'll do that. And then the reason, I don't think I told you, the reason that this is a recorded video is I have to go to Boston for my corporate job. I will be there for a week. I come home on Friday, but it doesn't work, you know, Friday because I do my Facebook Lives on Thursdays. So I don't want to miss being with you guys and sharing these crazy cards that are so fun that I did want to go ahead and get it recorded so that you guys could watch it and know that I'm thinking about you even though I'm not there. And then I will be back for the next one. Okay, so now we've got this. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm eventually going to get this centered over You Make Every Day a Little Brighter. So let me go ahead and I'm just going to take off the dimensionals that are, or the backs of the dimensionals I should say, that are around the back, or the circle to start. Let me see, am I getting those off? Let me pull these and put them in the bin to get them out of the way. I had classes this weekend. They were amazing. I'm going to post some pictures, but we used a lot of dimensionals, and I found a lot of dimensionals, these little backings, get away from you, and there were all kinds of them on the floor. All right, oops, it's sticking to my glass mat, my crazy glass mat. I love my glass mat. I'm going to talk to you about this in a minute, the glass mat, but I think this dimensional is done for, so let me start again. These dimensionals are sticky. All right, so I'm going to put that one down. I'm going to pull this paper off of this one. Things happen. All right, let's get this one off. And again, I am going to attempt to center this over my You Make Every Day Brighter. So I don't want to get my head in the way, but I need to get close enough so that I can see what it is that I'm doing. And I'm actually going to line this up. And then as I center it, I'm going to try to line the cardstock up as well on a line. And I think I'm pretty close. We're going to do it right here. Love that. Love, love, love. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take the rest of the dimensional backings off. You know what I didn't do? I jumped the gun. You guys aren't going to see it. I jumped the gun. I was supposed to emboss this with the embossing folder, the Time Worn embossing folder. So after I cut it off, or cut it out, then what I should have done is run it through the embossing folder. Can I still do that? We're gonna see, because I really like the effect of the embossed versus the not embossed. It just makes a huge difference. So what do you do when you make a mistake like this? Oh my gosh, let me think about it. What are we gonna do? I'm gonna get out my handy dandy undo. You may have seen me use this undo before, but this undo helps you to remove adhesive. So you saw how easily this came off. Let me, I'm just gonna get a piece of paper here, a piece of scrap paper, and I'm gonna start taking my dimensionals off. So I'm gonna waste my dimensionals, but this is how you fix something that you've done, your little blunder, your little faux pas, and you don't want to, you're not satisfied with what it's going to look like if you don't do what you had planned to do, but you don't want to throw it away and start over. I don't want to throw it away. I don't want to start over. So here's what we're doing. This liquid takes that adhesive off. You see how easily these dimensionals are coming off. So I'm going to do this all the way around. Let me grab these. Your paper is going to be wet. It does make your paper wet, but it releases the adhesive. And so I'm going to make sure that I can get under this one. I don't want to tear my paper. So we're going to get under this one. And what we're going to do is we're going to pretend like this didn't even happen. We're going to pretend like it didn't even happen. Or I did this on purpose so that you guys could see how this works. So I'm going to put my undo up. I'm going to grab a paper towel and I'm just going to wipe off my glass mat pick this up. I'm gonna put these in the bin. They're sticky, sticky, sticky. I'm gonna wipe this up. All right, this will start to dry. This is already drying, but look, I'm starting out with 2 pieces again. It's like it never happened. So let me bring out the time-worn 3D embossing folder. I'm going to line my paper up with the line. I don't know if you can see this black line. I'm going to line my paper up with the black line. I just do it that way. That way I know that I'm getting a straight emboss. I'm going to be back in my cut and emboss, my big one, because this is a big folder. And this time I'm going to use plate number 1 and I'm going to use plate number 4. I gotta get plate number 4 out. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and crank this through. Okay, close this back up again. Pull this out. And now this is embossed. Look how pretty that is. This will continue to dry. It's still a little damp, but it'll continue to dry. I don't know if you remember how it looked before, but it's drying as I talk. So now I can do exactly what I did before. I'm gonna bring out my dimensionals again, and I'm going to do the same thing. I've got it turned over. I'm going to put my dimensionals down. As crazy as it is that this happened, because I do make mistakes. I make mistakes more often than you think. The fun part about crafting is learning how to fix your mistakes. Mistakes do not have to be, oh no, I have to start over. Mistakes don't have to be, I just need to put this in the trash bin. Nope. You can fix your mistakes. You can fix them by utilizing the undo like I showed you. It's the best tool that I have when it comes to being able to move my paper around when I've got glue on it. But there's so many things you can do to fix your mistakes. So again, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take off the tips here. And I was going to tell you too, the undo, you can find it on Amazon. It's easy to obtain. I usually get 2 bottles at a time. I use them for my own crafting, but I also use them in my classes because I want my the people that come to my classes to understand that you don't have to start fresh. You can fix it, and undo gives us a second chance, as you can see. All right, so I'm going to line this up again. It looks like maybe this is where I want it to go. So I'm going to set it down, and I'm so much happier with it. Now what I can do is I can finish taking the backings off of these dimensionals, and I will adhere it to my card base. So that was an unplanned lesson, but I hope you guys are excited about the fact that you don't have to throw your card in the trash. You can just undo it. All right, so let me get this centered the way that I want it. I think that worked out perfect. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my little birds and I'm going to arrange them, and I'm actually going to pop them up. I'm not going to worry about the part that goes over my blue. You make every day a little brighter. I'm just going to pop them up on the back side. So I'm going to do them on, I'm going to find some little mini dimensionals here, perhaps, maybe. Let's see if I got any here. I just have big. All right, well, that's good. We'll just put a big one down here. And maybe I'll do 2. I'll do one here and I'll do one here. So I've got 2 at the bottom for my birds, and I'm going to do the same thing on this one. Do one here and one here. Okay. And then let me see how I want to arrange them. I think I want them looking at each other. They're having a chat. So I'll go ahead and I will take this. If I decided, let me see if I did it on this one. I did do it on this one. Okay, here's another learning lesson. This is already popped up, right? We already popped this up. So if I put a dimensional up here on my head that's going to be over this paper, I have to double pop it up. And I realized that that's what I had done before because it does get a little wobbly. So I have double dimensionals here, and then I have single dimensionals here. So when I adhere this, I don't want to put it right there. I want to put it down just a little bit. There we go, because I don't want to cover up my sentiment. So now my head has stability, and it's even with these dimensionals because of the double pop-up. I hope that made sense. All right, I'm going to do the same thing for this one. I wasn't going to do it, but when I realized how wobbly it gets, I remembered that that's what I needed to do. I do make these cards well in advance, so sometimes I forget exactly how I did things. All right, do I have the backs off? No, I don't. All right, so let's get the backs off. I think this one is, no, I got them all. I got them all. All right, so let's position this one because it's having a chat with that one. Make sure I have this the way I want it. All right, very good. So the last thing we're gonna do with this one is I'm gonna take my twine by linen thread, if you will, and I'm going to tie myself a bow. So let's get some of the curl out of it. And I'm going to do a double bow. It's very, very thin. And I just feel like the bow will be a little bit fuller if I double it up. So now all I have to do is kind of finesse it a little bit to get it to the size that I want it to be. I want to make sure that my tails are hanging down. So I'm just going to play with this for just a second. Okay, I think this side needs to be a little bit bigger. Good. Now I'm going to take my ribbon scissors and I'm just going to cut here and I'm going to trim it up here. Okay, and now what I can do with a glue dot, I'm going to trim those up just a little bit to make them a little bit more even. They don't have to be perfect, but okay. We're going to take a glue dot from right here, and I'm going to kind of wad it up into a little ball so that I can put it on the back of my knot here. There we go. If I can get my thumb away from it now. Sticky, sticky glue dot. Oh, there we go. Okay, now I can go ahead and I can place it right here on my card. And there you go. The first card is done. I love this card. I'm so glad that I took it apart and did the embossing. Obviously, I've got different colored birds here, but it's just such a sweet card. And the fact that you can cut the center out and pop it up, it gives it some dimension and it just makes it so fun. And then of course, I've got my little circle that I can utilize later. So let's go ahead and we're gonna set this off to the side. I'm going to clean up my mess and we will get ready for our second card. And we're gonna do basically the same thing, only it's gonna have a different look. So the second card that we're going to do, we are going to do on, what color is this? Lost Lagoon. This is designer series paper. So I guess I don't need to give you the color of that. We've got designer series paper. So basically what I'm gonna do, this piece is actually the piece that came out of here. So I'm gonna put this off to the side. We're not really gonna utilize it, but I guess when I did this card, I just left it in. So we're going to go back to the dies again. I was looking to see if I could see, I've got some other colors here. I'll show you those in a minute. All right, so we're gonna go with, I believe it's going to be this die. Yes, it is this die. And basically we're gonna do the same thing. We are going to center it in the middle of the cardstock. The good news for this one is I don't have to emboss. All I have to do is cut. So let me get this centered basically where I want it. It looks like the cardstock in its, or not the cardstock, but the designer series paper in itself is a little, it's cut a little bit wonky. Not bad, not bad. But I don't have to worry about trying to line up my die up that much because I just want even edges all the way around. It's not going to line up with the thread for this. So let me bring in my pieces again. This time I need these plates. So we'll put this on there. Run this through. It has been a busy weekend. I had 2 classes on Saturday. We had a total of 9 people for the classes on Saturday. So fun, so fun. I'm so glad that everybody came. We worked on a coloring technique. And then this afternoon, I had 5 additional people come. Again, so fun. I love it when you guys are able to join me face to face. And I really, really enjoy seeing your creations. You guys, you're very creative. You tend to go rogue, which means that just because I say maybe you might want to do it this way, if you have another way that you would prefer to do it, you do it that way. And I love that. I love to see your creations. The coloring techniques that you guys did were amazing. And I actually learned some things that I want to try. So thank you to those of you that were able to join me. And if you weren't able to join me and you're local, please see if you can make it to the next ones because they are a lot of fun. And like I said, I will try to get some pictures posted on Facebook. If not tonight, tomorrow. But it's been a busy weekend, and now I'm down here recording because I want to do it before I go out of town tomorrow. All right, so we've got that cleaned up. I'm not going to worry about any more of those little dots. But now we've got this. How fun is that? So now we're going to do some stamping. I'm going to put this off to the side. We don't need this piece, but this is the center piece, like the other one that I showed you. So I'm going to save these. I've got all these additional pieces that I can save, and I can use them to create something else. All right, so let's go ahead, and I'm going to use my Memento Black ink. And we are going to stamp this fun vase with the flowers. And then we're going to actually do some coloring with our Stampin' Blends. So let me get this inked up. Well, looks good. So I'll close this up and go ahead and get this lined up so that I get a fairly lined up stamp on this. I want to go pretty much in the center of the piece. I want to make sure I get a good adherence. You know, sometimes you can just go up and down, but because I'm going to be coloring this, I want to make sure I get a good clean ink stamp on that. So let me clean this off. And then while we're doing this, I am going to stamp the sentiment that we're going to do. And I'm just looking to see, let me see. Yes, here's the die that we're going to utilize to cut out that sentiment. All right, so let's do this first. This one says, wishing you so much joy on this special day. I have it right here. We're going to do it in Lost Lagoon. And I'm just going to stamp it right in the middle. Stamp, stamp, stamp. Or tap, tap, tap. And we're going to put it right in the middle. And then I can clean this off, close up the stamp pad. And now, since I have just a little one to cut, I am going to bring out my mini cut and emboss. It's a lot easier to lift up here. So let me get this. It's just barely fits, but it fits. So let me get this lined up appropriately. I think we're there. So I'm going to put that there, bring this in. Oh, do I have? No, I don't. I thought I had a plate missing, but I don't. So we'll go ahead and put this through. and it will be ready when we're ready. So punch that out. Oh, so cute, so cute, so cute. Okay, now let's go ahead and do some coloring. So I have some, let me see, I'm going to be utilizing crumb cake, light crumb cake and dark crumb cake. So I'm going to use that for the pot. And then I'm going to use Calypso Coral for my flowers. And then I've got some boho blue that I'm going to use for the little flowers. And I'm going to use, let me see what color, seafoam green for my leaves. So let me go ahead and get the pot started first. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to color the entire pot in the crumb cake to start. So we're going to do the entire pot in the crumb cake, the light crumb cake, I should say. So I'm going to go ahead and get that done. And then we'll do some shading on it with the darker crumb cake. So let me get this taken care of. Quick color. And then what I can do now is I can take, whoops, I want to use the bullet point end. I can take my crumb cake here and I'm going to start to shade it in. So we're going to do a little bit here, and then we're going to just take it and I'm going to kind of flick it all along the edge here, trying to stay in the lines right along the edge here. And then I'm going to turn this, I'm going to do the same thing on this side and flick it. And this is going to be, since we're using the alcohol inks, we can actually do some blending with this. And the reason that I'm leaving it light in the center is because this pot is oval, or, you know, rounded. So you want to give it that appearance of rounding. You know, we did some coloring techniques today and yesterday in classes. And we didn't use the alcohol markers as much, not because we couldn't, but because we were coloring in flowers and it was a little bit harder to get the blending in the flowers with the alcohol inks. But I love utilizing these. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in some more, and I'm just going to use the brush tip this time and just do some flicking. Flick, 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 flick. And then we're going to color it in again. All right, then I'm going to take this dark and I'm just going to color in the base of it. And I'm going to color in right here. And then I think I'm going to take the very fine point and I'm just going to do the rim. Okay, so we've got that. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to take the soft seafoam. This is the dark soft seafoam. And so I think maybe what I'll do, these leaves are pretty interesting in the sense of they are kind of sectioned off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the dark and I'm going to put it in one section, and then I'll take the lighter in the other sections that I don't color in. And there's no rhyme or reason to how I'm doing this. I'm just leaving white spaces in these sections. And then when I come in with the light, hopefully it will add some dimension to this. So we're just going to go ahead and I'll do that. And then we'll come in with the light. And I actually can take it and I can color the entire leaf now, because I can go over the darker one that I just did. Oh, that one I didn't get done. Okay, we'll come back and do that one in a second. Let's go here, and here, here. This is a little one. And then I do want to add a little bit of dark to this one. I don't know, it's very subtle. I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but I can see it. And it just adds, you know, a little bit of texture to the flower. So the flower or the leaves are not just a solid color. All right, so we've got that now. Did I get all of them? Let me get this piece right here. Did I get it all? Okay. Then what I want to do is I want to color in my flowers, and I'm going to take the light Calypso Coral, and I'm going to color in all of my flowers. So we've got some coloring on this one, and then our next card we've got some coloring as well. So I'm trying to go fairly fast so I don't take up too much time. But if I'm being honest, I love to color. I don't know if you guys remember the adult, or I think they still have adult coloring books. Excuse me. But I love to color, and so it's always fun when I can create a card where I get to choose my own colors and color things up. Okay, so we've got the light. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the dark, and we're just going to do these lines where the shading was. Dot, dot, dot. Just do some lines here, and then we've got some here. It gives just some shading to it. I'll bring it up close for you guys in a minute. I'm going to use the brush tip again, and I'm just going to come in from the outside to the inside, but I want to try to blend in the that one. I'm going from outside in. All right, and then I'm just going to add a little bit more of the lighter color to blend with the darker color to give it some shading. And then the last thing I'm going to do, these little flowers are so little, it actually looks like they were done in, not blue, but in the Lost Lagoon, which coordinates with the paper. So let me take these. Oh, look, I found a leaf that I didn't get. Did you guys see that? I bet you did. I bet you saw that leaf. You were waiting for me to find it. I know that if this had been live, somebody would have given me a comment to say, April, don't forget that leaf that you missed. All right, but I found it. So let me get this on. We're almost done. I've got one more leaf to do. We're going to do some dark, dark, dark. And then I'm going to do some light. And I think we can call it good. All right, let me get some stems down here. All right, I think we can call it good. So my pot is done. Now what we want to do is we want to do basically the same thing that we did before. Oh, isn't that pretty? I just love that. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take the dimensionals, and we're going to do, let me see. I have got, they might be too thick. Let me just do this. I'm going to pull out some dimensionals here. Let me think. Maybe. This is some dimensional, it's a pad. And so if I wanted to, I could do the whole thing. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut this in strips to start. So I just want to do skinny little strips. And then I can put these skinny little strips along the sides of my card, because I want to be sure to be able to grab this picture, my little pot. So I'm going to do some more strips here. And then the rest of the piece we can do with dimensionals. But I really just wanted to get a good adherence to my picture. So this one, I think I can do another strip, and then we're just going to cut it in half. But you can see I'm just cutting little teeny tiny thin strips. And then I'm going to cut this in half. The paper's coming off of it. Let me see. So I can put this one in here. Good enough. And then we'll put this one in here. Well, good enough. I've missed a few little areas, but I don't think in the grand scheme of things it's going to make a big difference. And then what I can do, let me move this off to the side. I utilize all of my edging when I'm working with my dimensionals. So I'm going to cut off some of this edging so that I can utilize it on the outside. So we're going to do this. And then let me see, did I get this one cut? Yep. So I'm going to do some edging along here. Let me see, did I get this cut? I've got a few dimensionals that I can still use on here, so I'm working to, there we go. I think I can use this edging, and I'm going to put it over here. And let me see, cut this one. You don't have to do it the way that I'm doing it. It's just how I'm doing it this time. I don't know that I did it quite the same way when I was doing it the first time, but I want to make sure that I get good coverage. So let me do this one, and I'm going to put it here and here. Probably a little bit of overkill, but it's okay. It's okay. So let me see. I need one more. I guess I could put it, here's a little piece here. No rhyme or reason. It's just how things worked for me today. All right. Normally I don't put this much, but this is going to work. Let me move this off to the side. Let me move this stuff out of the way. Now what I can do is I can take this, because I did want it to be popped up. So I can take this, and I'm going to, again, put my pot, piece of cardstock, centered on my grid. I love my grid, my glass grid. I've shared before, but this is a special, if you decide to become a designer by the 29th of a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I should say. By the 29th of this month, it's a special running, and you basically pay $99 for your kit. You will get $125 worth of product, your choice, in your kit, and then you can select the glass mat, which comes with a silicone tray that you can do ink blending in. It holds your little stamping spots, and then you also get a cloth to be able to clean up your glass mat as well. You've seen me use it in a number of classes that I've done, but I love my glass mat, and one of the reasons why I like it so much, besides all the blending and everything that I can do, is it's a grid so that when I'm lining things up for my cards, I can utilize it. All right, so let's go ahead and get this burnished. And now what I can do is I can adhere this to this card, and it actually looks to me like it was cut off a little bit, so it's okay. It's going to center side to side, and it's going to line up top to bottom. So it'll have a different look, and I'll show you it. And sometimes I do cards that way. So let's go ahead and get this all set up, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Because I've got all my dimensionals and everything on it now, it's not worth it to me to try to cut this down. It's going to look just fine the way that it is. And again, hopefully the message that I'm conveying to all of you is that crafting, you just kind of go with the flow of it and how things work out. And maybe I designed this card so that you had even edges all around, and it looks great that way. But this card isn't necessarily going to end up looking the same way. And I'll show you just a second. I want to make sure that I get it adhered edge to edge, and I want to make sure I get it centered appropriately, and it actually looks like maybe I have more room on this other side. So let me see if I can move it just a tiny bit. So I'm going to move this over. It kind of tore my paper just a little bit, but we're okay. I just want to make sure that it gets centered appropriately. So let me try this, looking at it this way. Because I want it to be even with the edges as well. And what I mean, top to bottom edges. Okay, so now we've got this on. It looks great. It's just, you've got edges on each side instead of how we had before. Now we can go ahead and we can put our wishing you so much joy on this special day. I'm going to put a little dimensional on the inside of this, because this is already popped up. When I go to place this, I just need something to support this. Actually, maybe I'm going to need two. Maybe not. Maybe not. And then I'm going to put some glue on it. So let me pull my glue out. And then we'll put this right here. Right about there, I think. So we've got that. Get that glued. And then we're going to do the same thing that we did on the last one. I'm looking for my linen thread. Oh, I didn't pull the backing off. Did you guys pick up on that? I get the backing pulled off. Okay, there we go. So now we're going to take the linen thread and we're going to make another bow. And this one we're actually also going to use some embellishments on. So let me get this little bow made. Almost lost my loop. Oop. I think I'm going to start again. I didn't give myself enough room. Pull that a little bit more. Get the little swirls out of it. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty on this one. Let's see where we're at. I got to make this a little bit bigger. Okay. Where's the other side to it? Oh my goodness. It's like it became its own little bow. And I've got two or one tail instead of two tails. Isn't that odd? Maybe not. I don't know. How do I shorten both of those? I don't know what I did. Oh well, it's okay. It's working. How fun. All right, I'm gonna take my scissors and I'm gonna do this. Doesn't have to be the most perfect bow. I'm gonna actually lay it right here with the glue dot. So let me pull this stuff out of the way and find my glue dots again. And I'll just kind of make this into a little dot again. A little ball, and we'll get that adhered. Get it off of my nail. There we go. All right, we got it. Okay, and then I'm gonna place it right up here. There we go. And so now we have this card, and look how cute that is. Now wait a minute, I do have some embellishments. These are opaque faceted gems. So I'm gonna go ahead and take I'm gonna take this off again. I don't think I've got, oh, I am dealing with circles again. All right, well, we'll replace it if we have to. Use my putty end on my opaque gems, and I'm gonna pick up one of these and one of these, and then, oops, get that down, and then I'm gonna take one of the turquoise ones or the Lost Lagoon ones, and I'm gonna put it here. Now we're done. The cards look very similar. There's some differences to them, but they both turned out great. And it's so fun. They don't have to look exactly alike. I love the fact that I'm able to do a little bit of tweaking to my cards. I've got something similar. They kind of call this casing as well. Copy and share everything. So you can case a card and you can switch it up so that it looks a little bit differently, but you use the same idea. You can change it up a lot or just little subtle changes. So that's card number 2. Now we're gonna focus on, let me move these out of the way, the last card, card number 3. And that's the one that we're gonna do with the teacup. So let me get my kit for that. All right, so Misty Moonlight. We've got a piece of basic white cardstock. We have some of the Designer Series paper. I love this paper. It looks kind of like a watercolor wash. And then I've got a piece of Designer Series paper that we're going to utilize. And then we've got our scrap piece that we're going to actually stamp our T-cut on. And then we're also going to cut out a circle. So let me get the teacup stamp here. We're going to use the Memento ink again. So we'll go ahead and do that. Make sure I get it stamped, inked up the way that I need it. It looks really good. I'm going to stamp it right in the middle. That looks good. Very good. Let me clean this off. I have my chamois. And let's color this one. And we're going to use the Misty Moonlight. I'm going to bring back out my Calypso Coral. And I'm also going to bring out my green again that I was utilizing. So let's do the cup first. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use the light boho blue. And I'm going to color in the entire cup with the light boho. So we'll do that first. We've got a little bit of an edge. Is that a leaf or an edge? I think that's the edge of the cup right here. So we'll get that. We'll do this. And now we can start working on the main part of the cup once I get this little handle done. My goal is to try to stay in the lines. Doesn't always happen, but I do try. Were you, when you colored, and maybe now, but I mean, was there a time that for me to stay in the lines, the easiest thing for me to do was to outline the edges, much like I'm doing right now? And then when I colored, I would be able to have more freedom coloring because I had colored in the edge. Do you know what I'm talking about? Or do you guys just color up to the line? I could always tell when I was doing that is the outer edge would always be a little bit more darker than the inside edge. But that's with crayons. I don't notice that so much with the markers. But what I'm doing is I'm taking my darker and I'm kind of flicking it along those edges that the stamp has. So I can flick it along those edges and you can kind of see how it highlights the cup. So then I'm going to take my light again and I'm just going to go over all of it because it's going to help to blend it all together. So I should still have my highlighting, but in addition to that, I will have it just blended a little bit better. All right, so we're going to do that. We'll get this down here. And let's get this here. And I don't know if I got this, so I'm going to try this one again. Okay, so hopefully you guys can see. Maybe if I get it in the better light. Can you see how it's kind of highlighted along these edges? And it coincides with the lines that are already part of the stamp. Okay, we're going to do the same thing with the flower. I like the bullet point better. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to color in my flower with the Calypso Coral. This is the light. And then I'm going to take the dark and do what I did the last time with the bullet point tip. And we're going to just highlight from the center going out to give it a little bit of more highlighting there. Darker in the center, and then I'll color this in a little bit more. But we've got the highlighting there. And then the same thing with the green. I'm going to go ahead and do these in different colors. Okay. that was the dark, and then I'm just gonna take the light and I'm gonna go over the whole thing in the light. And you can see a little bit of the difference. It's probably maybe easier to see on the teacup than it was on the pot that I did, because these are bigger flowers. I'm gonna take some of the crumb cake because I wanna give it a little bit of a dark color in here so it looks like we're drinking tea. Okay, so my cup is done. I'm gonna move all these out of the way. And now what we're gonna do is we're going to take the circle die that we have in here, and I used it before, so it's in my tray. We're going to center this. And fortunately, I was able to get this centered fairly well. I'm almost running out of cardstock. Actually, I could probably bring it up a little bit more because I'm not going to be using the outer edge. I don't know if you guys can see this, but there's two circles. We talked about this before. Here's the cutting line. Here's the outer dots, and then we've got the inner dots. I'm interested in the inner dots. And so because I didn't get my teacup centered quite exactly centered on my paper, I don't need to worry about it as long as I've got my center dots. So what happened to my tape? My tape was here. Oh, it's right here. I'm gonna go ahead and take this down. And let me see. I think this is where I want it to go. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of tape to hold that so I don't have to worry about it. Bring back in the cut and emboss. And we'll crank this through. Okay. So when we take this out, you can see what I mean. I didn't have this centered exactly, but that's fine because I probably wasn't going to use this piece anyway. So this is a piece of scrap paper for me. So I can take this off. And what's important is now that my teacup is centered in the middle of my paper. So let me move this stuff out of the way and we will start to assemble this card. Actually, we've got one more stamping that we need to do, and we're going to actually do it on the designer series paper. And we are going to, let me see, how do I want this designer series paper to go? Do I want it to go this way or do I want it to go this way? Because this piece is going to go here. I'm just trying to figure out how I want my watercolor wash. I don't know, I kind of like that because I like that dark color coming out there. All right, so we're gonna stamp down in this lower corner with the Misty Moonlight. So let me bring that out. And we will tap, 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 tap. I love photopolymer stamps because there's so many things you can do with the photopolymer as far as being able to see through it and line things up. But I love the rubber stamps as well because I don't have to worry about cushions. It's got its own built-in cushion, and the stamp that you get is just it's just very, I don't know, it's how do I want to say, crisp. Is that the word that I want to use? Crisp. All right, so let me take this and clean it up. Close this up, and now we're going to start to assemble this card. All right, so let me move this stuff out of the way. Bring in the Misty Moonlight card base, and on that card base, we are going to adhere a piece of basic white. So let's get that on. All right. Make sure I've got it going the right way. So we'll get this on. And very, very small edges on this. Okay, we've got that. Then we're going to take our designer series paper and we're going to layer that. Look at the pretty birds on the back. All right, so we'll do this. I'm gonna get laid down, and then like always, I have to pick it up, and I wanna make sure I get everything the way I want it. All right, that looks good. We're gonna take this piece of designer series paper, and let me see, I think this is the direction it needs to go. I'm gonna use the birds on the back as my clue. So we've got this. And I'm going to adhere it at the very top of the other designer series paper. So we've got this. And now I'm going to take dimensionals. Sorry about that. Find my dimensionals. I've got 2 here, and then I've got some scraps here. So we might as well use those up. So I'm going to take these dimensionals and put it up here and down here. So this is trash. And then let's see, let's go ahead and snip this and snip this and snip this. And we can put some dimensionals here and some dimensionals here. And I will just put one in the center just to prevent sag, middle sag. All right, so let's get the backs of these off. Up. Okay, now we'll take the teacup and we'll just kind of center it down low above our sentiment. See how far I could go up. Probably about right here is where I want it. There you go. And now this card is done as well. So pretty. These cards are so pretty. All right, so here's card number 3 that we just finished. I'll bring back in card number 2 that we just finished, and then card number 1. Let me pull these down so you guys can see. Love these cards. This again is from the Everyday Details set. I'm using the Flight and Fancy, is that what it's called? Flight and Fancy? Oh, I'm sorry, Flight and Airy Designer Series paper. And then of course I used the dies that came with this as well. I see a little bit of ink right here. I'm gonna use my little ink eraser, or not ink, but I saw some adhesive. And this is an adhesive eraser, and so I was able to just take that right off. Okay, so we are actually going to be doing this set next week as well. So this is the live for this coming Thursday, the recorded live. I'm gonna come back to see you guys. Those cards were the recorded live. And then we're gonna use that same set again when I am back, and it will be a for real live. But I do love these cards. I think they're just so pretty, and I think you guys will enjoy them too. So again, this is a to-go class. If you are interested in getting these kits for free, you get 3 cards, 2 of each card. If you're interested in getting the kit for free, all you need to do is place an order in my online store. And you can go to aprildaviscreations.com to get all the information about the to-go class. It will have the host code and everything that you need. So until next time, I will see you guys. I'll be thinking about you while I'm in Boston, and hopefully the weather will be nice there, because the weather's been nice here, and I want nice weather to follow me. Anyway, thanks again for joining me, and I will see you next time. Bye, everyone.